gonna start off this video with some bombshell statements, so get your asses ready, cause I'm about to go all in. Andor is one of the best Star Wars TV show to come out in years. Andor is one of the best Star Wars titles since Rogue One. Andor is better than Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett, and it rivals The Mandalorian and the Clone Wars. I went in with high expectations, and Andor blew them out of the water. Hearing rumors and chit-chat from other creators and news outlets that this show would not be loved by many Star Wars fans kinda scared me, but also intrigued me even more. Safe to say, I was one of those Star Wars fans that loved Andor. It is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Instead of rushing into scenes with gunfights and cool visuals, Andor takes its sweet time, setting everything up for it to all come tumbling down into a very satisfying ending. You've probably heard that Andor is a slow burn TV series a million times, but I have to talk about it because it does it so well. If the slow burn led to nothing substantial, then Andor would be mid to low tier content. But each episode is so expertly crafted to where when the climax hits, it hits hard and the pain is long lasting. It wasn't like Marvel movies where it has multiple mediocre movies that leads up to a good movie. No, each episode was fantastic in its own right. Each episode had something important to say, something that justified its existence. Whoever was on the writing team for Andor, they need to be brought back to the writing room and be treated like gods. Why? Because they hit a motherfucking home run with the writing of the characters in the show. My biggest complaint about Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett was the weak writing of the main cast and the side characters. So much so that they're honestly boring and forgettable. Andor looks at these shows and says, "Ha, that's cute. Here, watch this." The characters of Andor are so well written that they actually feel human, rather than a plot pawn that will be shot just for the sake of the plot. I found myself gritting my teeth when certain characters met their fate, pumping my fist in the air as if I was there to share the victory with them, and feel a sense of empowerment or dread from some of the characters' monologues, which, by the way, were amazing. With the pace of the show, you're actually allowed to savor the writing of these characters to where you can form some attachment to them. Most Star Wars titles are typically mid, since the fan service, nostalgia, and few epic scenes typically give them a passing grade. A whole lot of fluff with no substance. Andor, on the other hand, relies on its phenomenal writing to be entertaining. There was rarely, if not at all, moments in your face of fan service. "Oh, remember this guy? Look at this, it's a quirky so-and-so." If there were references or iconic items from the Star Wars lore, it was either well hidden or a small thing. A thing that wasn't the main focus of the scene. It was very refreshing to get Star Wars content that didn't feel rushed or recycled. The main criticisms I've heard from others about the show is its slow pace and its lack of action. My brother in Christ, you can't make a good lasagna in 15 minutes, alright? That shit takes hours to make, and a couple of more minutes to let that bitch cool down. Admittedly, the first two episodes might have felt a little too slow, but not to the point where I would say they were boring. Its slow pace is Andor's greatest strength since it gives us time to soak up the dialogue between the characters. For the lack of action? Sure. It isn't like The Mandalorian where each episode has nuts to butts action every 10 minutes. But when there was a scene with an action sequence, it's very potent due to the plot slowly building up to that moment. One fight scene from Andor can equate to 5 fight scenes from The Mandalorian. The only gripes that I have about the show is some audio issues in some of the episodes. More specifically, it felt like the audio when someone was talking wasn't really matching up with the scene. Or maybe it could be the writing where it fell a little flat, which is weird to say after literally sucking the dicks of the writers in this entire review, but it definitely wasn't an occurring issue. Some of the jokes were kinda lame. It had that haha Marvel joke laugh now type of vibe, but it was only really in the first or second episode. But these little nitpicks are completely overshadowed by the pros of the show. If you haven't seen Andor yet or were turned off by the slow burn vibe it has, then I highly recommend you watch it and give it a chance. It will quickly grow on you. One of my biggest fears, and from what I've heard is kinda coming true, is that not enough people are watching Andor. That alone will send a bad message to Lucasfilms that this kind of content ain't working for the fans, which of course is a giant, fat fucking lie. The show is perfect. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes on to win some awards later on. Overall, I think Andor Season 1 is a masterpiece that should be watched by anyone who dares call themselves Star Wars fans. Let me know in the comments if you've seen the show yet, or if you enjoyed it or not. Thanks again for watching my review on Andor, and I'll see you all in the next review. Goodbye, for now.